Hey guys, it's Christine, also known as IvyWinter. Thank you for joining me for another Disney video. Today was a request, but I kind of flipped it a little bit because the original request was to do an unpopular Disney opinion about after hours events. And I didn't really know if my opinion was unpopular, so I didn't know if that was the right way to pivot this. Instead, I thought that we could talk about the pros and cons and whether after hours is worth it. And if it's worth it or not is really dependent on your situation. So I can't say that what's worth it for me is necessarily worth it for you. However, I'll go through some of the different points and hopefully that can help you decide on whether it's worth it or not. So I've done an after hours experience before. It was actually for the 30th anniversary of Hollywood Studios. If you want to check out my actual review of that specific event, you can check out the video here. I also vlogged when I was at the actual event, so if you want to see what it's like in situation, you can also check it out here. Diving right in, I want to first say that whether it's worth it or not, a big thing that this is going to depend on is what park and who you're traveling with. Parks matter because a lot of people feel that certain parks are more worth it than others, especially when you're spending that extra money for a ticket. For example, a lot of people argue Magic Kingdom is the best because it has so many rides. And if that's your end goal for after hours is to ride as many rides as you can, then yeah, Magic Kingdom's probably it. Some people warn away from Animal Kingdom because it's such a large park and you have to cross really far to get from area to area and there's not as many attractions. But look, for me, Animal Kingdom is my favorite park, so I definitely want to do an after hours event there. So consider your parks and what your goal is. But the other thing that it really depends on is your group. So I went solo, and being solo at a after hours event is very different than if you're with a group of friends or family. So when you're alone, you can kind of plan things out as you want to. Now, if you're with a group of people, it really is all going to depend on how they feel about this after hours event, right? And how they want to tour and what park they want to go to. Maybe even the people you're going with don't find it worth it. So do you go on your own without them? You know, remains to be seen. Paying for a whole family might be kind of expensive, but we'll get to that. I do want to flesh out some of the pros and cons to think about when you're thinking about buying a ticket for after hours. One of the biggest pros, and it is the one that everyone thinks of, is exactly what I said before. You can get a lot of rides done. You're going to a ticketed event that is a limited ticketed event, so only so many people are able to go to it, and so you're only gonna have so much of a wait as opposed to going during the day to a park in a really high crowd time. You're gonna feel a difference. And you do get the experience of going on a lot of rides for even that short amount of time. It's usually around 3 hours. When I did Hollywood Studios, I was able to do pretty much everything. Now granted, this was before Galaxy's Edge, and I don't know if they've included that now. I don't believe that they have. They might one day, but consider Galaxy's Edge was not open yet. I did Tower of Terror multiple times. I did Slinky Dog multiple times, got off and got right back on it again. So it is a possibility to be able to have those sorts of experiences. You can also have experiences on rides with less people in a vehicle. So we did Tower of Terror. I'm pretty sure there was only 8 of us in the entire elevator. We did Star Tours at the end of the night and there was 4 of us. It was me and 2 people I was with and 1 other random guy in the entire vehicle, which was hilarious. So you get these sort of very specific experiences as well where you're not going to be running into as many people. Another perk is free snacks. With your ticket is free popcorn, free ice cream, I believe free water. I might be missing something else there as well. They're given out at the different like little ice cream kiosks that you would normally see cast members working at with the umbrella. And yes, they are free. It was so weird to walk up and say, 1 Mickey Premium ice cream bar, please, and just have it handed to me and not give them any money, not tap my magic band, nothing. It was bizarre. I felt like I was stealing, but I wasn't. I'm not the biggest like ice cream eater, but by all means, if you're paying for this ticket already and you get it for free, maybe you want to overindulge. I definitely think you should at least do it once, get what you want. Another pro is getting really amazing photo ops, and I mean of the parks. You are gonna walk down areas with nobody in it, and you are gonna get some amazing photos. Not everybody is about this, right? You will see the parks in a way that you really haven't before. And when I was actually at the event that I went to, I ran into a couple of people who are photographers who were literally there just for that. They went on some rides, but that was not their main goal. Their main goal was to take photos and to take all of these photos down Sunset Boulevard and Toy Story Land and all these areas with nobody in them. And they paid ticket price just for that. So, you know, whether you are a photographer and you really want something like that, or maybe you're like me and you just like to take a few cool Instagrams, it's really amazing the kind of photos you can take. Lastly, you get really personal meet and greets with characters. And yes, there are meet and greets. It's not just rides. Of course, you want to prioritize what's more important to you, because obviously meeting and greeting characters takes some time away from rides. But because there's less people waiting to meet these characters, I found that I got a lot of really personal interactions. I had prolonged, hilarious interactions with stormtroopers in Launch Bay. I got to dance with Pluto. Just the sort of interactions that maybe on a busy day you would feel you couldn't have, or would be rushed because you feel some pressure. You know, there's a line of people behind you. It feels a bit different than that. You get to have these really prolonged, awesome, funny interactions with characters that I've never really seen before or happen as often during regular hours anyway. So if that appeals to you and you want to have some really unique memories, it's really great for that. Now, the cons. It's an extra cost. That's one of the biggest cons, one of the biggest things that makes people not want to go. You do have to pay extra. It is on top of the ticket that you already have for the parks. And for some people, that is a hard no. A lot of people argue that they don't want to pay for more time in the parks, and I 100% get and respect that point of view. It is about $100. I think it's a little more for the villains after hours for Magic Kingdom and the special themed ones. Even with my annual pass discount, it wasn't much. I think it was like 10% off. So you are paying a good amount of money to have the extra hours. And if you're not just one person, you're worrying, like I said, about a whole family, it's hundreds of dollars that adds up. So you really need to decide if that money's worth it. Maybe you'd rather put that money to a really special meal or a different experience, a tour, like I said, or even just like some huge souvenir that you really wanted, and that would be more worth it to you. So it's really about thinking about how you want to budget for this. The next con is that it's exhausting. These happen at night, they go on until late in the night, and if you're not prepared for it, or you're not a night person, I know, weird, right? But there are people who are not night people, and you go to this event, you might find yourself absolutely exhausted. I know that I think mine ended around 12:30. I didn't get back to my hotel room till like 1:30. I was wrecked. I planned to go to the parks later the next day to give myself some sleep. But for some people, that's frustrating. They don't want to be tired the next day. You know, you could, I guess, do parks all day and do an after hours event. I wouldn't recommend it. And I think that you need to consider how late that they go and how you want to plan the rest of your day. So I personally took an afternoon off knowing that I was going to have to be in the park until really late. And the thing is, you want to stay until really late because, again, you paid for it. So you don't want to dip out early and be like, well, I paid for 3 hours, but I only stayed for an hour and a half. You're going to feel pressure to stay to midnight, 12:30, whatever time that specific party is over. So keep in mind that it is absolutely exhausting. Make sure you have a game plan for that. And another con is you have no real way of knowing how crowded it's going to be unless, of course, your event is sold out. Now, I see the villains ones get sold out quite often. A lot of the special themed ones do. Magic Kingdom will tend to get sold out faster than, say, an Animal Kingdom after hours event. So you don't have the guarantee that you're going to walk onto every ride, and you don't really know what you're going to get until you get there. I know the one that I went to was actually surprised because I thought it was going to sell more tickets because it was, you know, toted up as the 30th anniversary after hours, but apparently they didn't even sell like maybe 50%. That was what I was hearing. So it was empty in Hollywood Studios. Whereas I'm sure there are people who go to sold out Magic Kingdom ones and go, I'm still waiting 25 minutes for a ride, which is better than an hour, but maybe that's not the experience you were expecting. It's also going to depend on park layout, right? Like you might feel crowds more in Magic Kingdom versus Animal Kingdom, which is far more laid out. So it might be a lot harder to be in a crowded area with a lot of people. But again, you can't guarantee what the experience is gonna be like, and I think you could have one after hours experience that feels empty and like you have the parks to yourself, and you have another where not so much. So I think it's about tempering expectations. So those are my thoughts on after hours. Do I think it's worth it? Well, I'm kind of hooked, and I really want to do another one the next time I go back, because just the experience of having parks emptier and having the opportunity to ride rides over and over again was really amazing. I had so much fun. It was honestly some of the most fun I've had in the parks in years. But not everyone is going to enjoy these events or feel like they're worth the money or feel like they're worth the exhaustion. So you definitely want to weigh out the pros and cons for you and if you think it's actually really worth it. I would like to know in the comments below, have you done an after hours event? If you have, how did it go? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Pros, cons, how do you feel about them? And if you haven't, are you considering one, and which park would you do it at? And no, there are no Epcot ones as of right now. It is just Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, and Hollywood Studios. But I would love to know which one you would want to do if you haven't yet. If you like this video, then like it. If you like me, you should subscribe and make videos every single week. I appreciate you guys tuning in, watching my hair grow out into weird lengths. I apologize for this, but honestly, what am I gonna do? I can't go to a hair salon. And I appreciate you guys just hanging out with me and spending your time with me. And I know we can't go to the parks, but I hope that some of these videos make up for it just a little bit. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great rest of the day. Bye.